All right, that's pretty cool. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. If you weren't following along, this is part three of Heaven and Earth, and we're about to continue with the story. We left off with me going to Shakopee, and we're about to explain about the Shakopee football experience. On our way to the story of Heaven and Earth. All right, so it's junior year. I enjoy Shakopee High School, and we're getting ready for senior year as two-a-days begin for football. It's senior year, y'all, and this is where you get scholarships. This is where you go to college, and this is where from college you get drafted. So, with that mindset said, you do not want to slip up. You want to be seen. You want to play. You want to get a scholarship. Two-a-days roll over into Shakopee High School. New kid here, and it's like I'm starting fresh, get a peace of mind. I've been trying to go to a school that just didn't want to play me, and the school before that didn't want to put me in the right position to be seen, and here I am trying to make this is a new squad, new team, new city. There's talent here too. Competition can't be overlooked. I got to treat everybody as if they're a threat type of mindset. So, two-a-days come and we're learning a different type of playbook. All right, different than Maple Grove, which is different than Osseo. And now here's another different type of playbook. So I'm learning playbooks up the rear. I'm knowing everything about football at this point. At this new school, I'm doing everything and anything to learn the plays and do good, show talent so I can be seen. They done wrote our names in tape on our helmets, so just got to get to know each other. And it's fun. It's fun. I see my threats, I see my competition, and it's like, okay, I got this in the bag. All right, it's gonna be smooth. Speed's already there, so definitely coach is already like, yeah, we're gonna keep him there. I'm running, I'm doing great things during practices, and coaches are keeping an eye on me. They're looking at me like, I think we got something going here, guys. A week passed, and here it is. It's the second week of two-a-days. I hear my name called over by the coaches. Hey, Moore. Yeah? You that new kid from Osseo, right? Yeah, I am. That pause was more like, should I have told him or should I not tell him? Like, oh crap, here comes some shitty news. Oh, okay. Yo, we heard some really great things about you, kid. Wait, what? Yeah, like your Coach TV called over and he said, "Yo, y'all got a weapon on y'all squad. You guys are a contender for state, man. Like, good luck to y'all. Look, I'm rooting for you guys. Y'all got that kid over there. He gonna do some damage, man." Hold on. Say that again. Yeah, your coach from Osseo, he called over and he was like, apparently you a weapon. He said you're really good. Like, he was amping you up. And to be honest, we already been seeing that since last week, but for him to call over, we now know for sure. So, I mean, don't let that shit get to your head now, kid. But hey, like, you gonna show us what you got this season. So I'm like, damn, coach called over. Like, what the? Why would he call over? Don't worry, he knew why he called over. Anyway, he called over, and I'm like, kind of like flabbergasted, right? Let me use a big word here now. I'm flabbergasted, and I'm like, yo, that's good. Okay, well, coaches know me, and there we go. I got backing, so I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play. It's my year. It's senior year, y'all. I'm about to be big man on campus. I'm about to run, and this school's gonna deserve a state championship from me. I'm gonna give it to them. Bam. Get my scholarship. Get drafted. Go pro, baby. Let's do it. So, I remember soccer being so nice and cool to a point where when I heard that news when they said the coach called over, the next day they had pictures and everything. It was like a motivational week because I remember we took pictures, and I still got my picture up. And when we took pictures in our uniform and whatnot, they even did this thing where they announced the players like before a game, like what they would do on a Friday night. And since I'm a new kid, I don't know how they run their program over here, but here it is. They literally set up the mascot type of thing where you'll kind of run through, and they announce your names. So when we took pictures looking all fresh in our uniforms, they're like, "So you going to get your name announced and everything?" And I'm like, kind of confused. Like, what do you mean? It was like, "Oh, we do this thing here in Shakopee. You get to run out on the field, and they'll announce your name." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, parents come and take pictures." And I'm like, "Oh man, I wish I knew early. I would have told mom. Like, mom would have been excited to like come and take pictures and stuff like that. Like, oh my goodness, like what?" And he was like, "Don't worry, they record it and they'll give it to us and whatnot." I'm like, "Yo, nah, this is my team. We finna go to state." So here it is. We took our picture, and when we take our picture, we get to the fun part, right? After the pictures came, parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, everybody, even some of the students. School hasn't started. They're just sitting in the bleachers are getting full. And I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck? They finna announce me? Bruh, y'all better remember the name because this is about to be on." So now they had the announcer. They already got the roster. They done said it. And now they're like freaking calling people. And they get to my name. And I'm like, "Yo, this is going to be my season, bro. I'm not playing." They were like, "And at running back, number 30, Nyenday Moore." And I'm just like, "Deuces, let's go." And I'm like, I even did the Michael Jackson kick, like, let's go, baby. Let's do this. It's on. Best feeling ever. That was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Fun for a short time because then the next day, right? The sport administrator comes and calls me. He was like, "Hey, I need to see you before you suit up." So I'm like, okay, should I be worried? But nah, because coach done called over and they done announced my name. And like, maybe we got to clarify, like, I don't do drugs because if I'm going to be that good, they probably need to do some testing to be like, if you're going to represent us, we got to make sure you're clear and, you're a good kid and whatnot. So I'm like, hoping like that's what it could be, and then they always got to think the glass half full, think positive. So here it is. I'm going into the sports administrator's office. I'm sitting across from him at his desk, and I'm just getting this weird gut feeling. Like, I'm feeling a little bit sick, but I'm like, stop. Don't stop. Like, dude, don't be nervous. Like, dude, it could be good news, man. And it is good news. Just claim it. Claim good news. So he says, I'm sitting across from him. He sits down. He says, "So we hear you the new kid from Ashio, right?" And I'm like, "Yep, yeah." And he's like, "Well, unfortunately, I got some news for you." And I'm like, I don't know how it just blurted out my mouth. I thought it in the back of, in my head, but it just came out. And I'm like, "Oh, please don't say it." And he hears me. He's like, "Yeah, I gotta say it." And now I'm withdrawn. And he's like, "Yeah, you can't play this year, kid." And I'm like, "Yeah, nah, you're joking with me, right?" Like, nah, I'm blabbering, just like this. Nah, it's not like that. You joking? You playing, right? You called me in here for something else, right? You just wanted to play with me. You want to joke. This is the joke, right? This is the joke. Because I'm here to play football. This is what I do best. This is what I'm great at. Like, I'm going to get me a scholarship. I'm going to go to college. This is what I do. Enough said. Like, tell me you joking. He's like, "Nah, man, I'm sorry. I can't let you play. And there's nothing I can do about it." And I'm like, "Nothing you can do about it? Can we ignore the fact that I transferred schools? Can we, like, just act like y'all didn't know I was new and just let me play? Like keep me off. I'm like this is what I'm telling him to. I'm like keep me off the streets. Like school hasn't started yet. Like I can go start selling drugs and stuff. Like just keep me on the field. Let me just play. You know what I'm saying? Before I start going shoot up, gas stations for some quick cash. I'll be a good boy. Just don't act like you don't know me, bro. Just I'm literally saying shit like this to the sports administrator, like straight up, not caring. Like I'm like, bro, you have control over this. We can be best friends, bro. Like I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna get you a car one day. I'm straight up just feeling like don't know what to say, how to fight for the chance to just play. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, that dude showed me a look like he did not give a fuck. He didn't care, man. It looked like he got off on it. The fact that he a black kid was not gonna be playing football. Like he really had that twinkle in his eye. Like got his ass now. He thought he was gonna do something with his life. Hell nah. Get ready to go to prison, my dude. Like that's what y'all black people about. And I'm sitting there looking at him. He's like, yeah, no, there's nothing I can do. And that look was like, you straight up just don't give a fuck. You don't care. You do not care what the fuck I do. I could come back to school and just shoot it up. And I'm not promoting this shit. But this is how pissed off I'm at. I'm like, you really just gonna dismiss the fact of you are the administrator. Write a letter to the city. Write a letter to the state. Figure out a way to fight for me. Let me play, please. Please. That dude was not having me. He said, yeah, man. He's like, did you have a ride home? Like, this shit just gets worse and worse. Because he didn't even care. He was like trying to get me out of the office now. He's like, do you got a ride home? Did you walk here? Straight up, I promise you. I remember it like yesterday. I'm not making this shit up. Literally asking me, do I have a ride home or do I walk? Because, since you're not on the team, you can't be on the premise. And I'm like, bro, you really finna just talk to me like that? Since I'm not on the team, I can't be on the premise. Like I'm a degenerate. I'm a degenerate now. I'm not on the team, so I can't be on school campus. But I'm gonna go to school here next week next week. I'm like, and I thought Maple Grove, Osseo was just the worst. Here it came to this situation, and I'm like, what is going on? I go home, and I'm thinking to myself, this can't be real. This is not real right now. This no. So now my heart is pounding in my chest, and I'm thinking, when was the last time I even played? I didn't get the Friday Night Lights experience? Wait, no, don't put that in your head. And I'm getting furious. I'm like shocked. I'm a loss for words. And when I get home to the apartment that I'm in by myself, by the time I touch the main door, like when you buzz into an apartment and get in, before I can touch the main door, tears just start flowing down my eyes. Before I can climb up the stairs to get to my door, I start yelling, like howling, like I'm mourning with crying. Before I can open the door to my apartment, I am just going nuts, crying, tossing shit around, breaking down. I literally I couldn't. I couldn't. I cried. I gave myself a migraine. I cried so hard, I'm yelling in my pillow. I kept crying for hours. It couldn't stop. It could not. I'm like, it's over. That couldn't be over. And I'm like, no. And my eyes are red. My head's hurting me. I'm by myself, y'all. So here's what happened. I cried so hard, so long. I cried into my pillow. And I passed out. Fell asleep. When I fell asleep, it looks like I held on so tight to the pillow, I started suffocating myself. Now, if you're not catching on by now, you're starting to realize we're about to visit heaven. We're about to go to heaven, and I'm about to tell you how real it is. But this is the process of what happens for me to go into heaven. So here it is. I'm crying into my pillow, fell asleep, and I'm suffocating myself. Now, real quick, I already said real quick. I have to state this. There's a boy named Colton Burple. There we go. Colton Burple. Sorry, I had to think of his name. He had a visit to heaven, and they actually made a movie about it. It's called Heaven is for Real. I never knew about this movie, but it's going to come into play later on. I'm bringing it up now because in his story, his trip to heaven, he didn't die. The doctors had him on a table for surgery, and they said on his charts there was not even a blimp on the screen to show that he actually had even passed out for a second before they can say, oh yeah, we lost him for a quick second, but we got him back. They said he didn't die at all whatsoever. Now, with that mindset said, because he didn't die, for him to start talking about heaven, it was kind of hard to comprehend because for some people, not me, but for some people it's hard to comprehend because it's like, how did you go to heaven? You just dreamt about it? But it's like, in order to know heaven, in order to see heaven, you have to die. You can't, there's no well, I had a dream, because dreams can be of anything. You know what I'm saying? In the manner of, some people can dream into see the future in the sense of, oh my goodness, I've having deja vu. And some people can dream of, an experience of falling off of a building. So at the end of the day, a dream can be in a sense made up to a point where you can be like, that's your envisionment, your vision of heaven, but that's not heaven. So that's where it's kind of tricky to understand that this kid, Colton Burple, actually had a trip to heaven. The only proof for this kid to have gone to heaven is some of the things he was saying to his parents. He's literally telling his mom, if you don't know the story about Colton Burple, or if you haven't seen the movie Heaven is for Real, he's literally telling his mom, he was like, yeah, I met my oldest sister. Like, she's in heaven. But she doesn't have a name. And, the mom's all kind of curious, like, what are you talking about? You met your older sister? She's like, yeah, like, way back when she died in your tummy. Like, you had a baby that died in your tummy, and she's in heaven. And the mom's like, wait, whoa. Like, whoa, dude. Like, did dad tell you this? It's like, no, I met her. She has hair just like you. And she's really nice. She came and hugged me and told me I'm her brother. And that alone just made the mother break down, like, oh my goodness gracious. Then he's telling his dad he met his dad's father's father, which is his great grandpa, or was it his grandpa? But anyway, you get the point. To a point where the kid been to heaven and he's saying stuff, seeing stuff, to a point that I'm bringing him up for a reason, because like I said, I'm gonna tell you why I wanted to share that. But his visitation was more like an invite. Like, while they work on your body, you're going to come with us, angels. You're not going to feel pain while they work on you. You're going to come with us, angels, because we got a mission for you. And the mission that we have for you, when you go back, you're going to pretty much deliver a message to wake up the world, which in a sense, it really did work, because the message done touched a lot of people's lives to understand that heaven is for real. Heaven is for real. So, here it is now. I done suffocated myself, and I'm in my dream actually, and I'm catching that I can't breathe, right? So before I actually officially kill myself, because that's what happens, I'm trying to tell myself, dude, let go of the pillow. Like, in my dream, I'm like, you gotta relax, just relax, like, just let go, just relax, so you can stop tensing up and you'll breathe. And as I'm doing this, I can't breathe, and I'm like trying to relax. So now as I relax, I don't wake up to this bright lights. It's like a sunny day, just gorgeous out. Just like, what is going on here? Where am I? Straight up. Where am I? I look to the left of me. I see a long line all the way down to the left. I look to the right of me. I see a long line. And when I had said that, I said, where am I? Someone said, you're in heaven. It didn't click to me that I'm in heaven right off the bat, because I'm like, heaven? Like, you don't just say heaven like it's just a corner store down the road. Like, you're in heaven, like it's right down there by the 7-Eleven. That's heaven right there. That's that barbershop, heaven. That's that coffee shop. That's heaven over there. Like, it, for them to say you're in heaven, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm in heaven? What, I died? And I was like, you must have, because you're in heaven. And then somebody asked me, said, what's the last thing you remember? And I'm like, I was hugging my pillow, and oh my, no. And that's how I was reacting in heaven, y'all. In the line in heaven. I'm like, no. I'm thinking to myself, my mom's gonna kill me. What do you mean kill? I'm dead. Oh my goodness. Stop playing with me. And these people are just looking at me like, oh, he's losing it. He's having a breakdown, guys. And I'm like, what is my mom gonna think? What's she going? She can't bury me. She going through enough right now. What is going on? I done suffocated myself. Oh, and I'm just mad at myself now. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, it makes sense, because I was supposed to do football, but apparently, since I didn't make the team, I can't play, it only means that, friggin', sorry, I'm gonna take up the sweater. It means that I'm supposed to die. Gotta come back to heaven. Mission not accomplished. I failed it. So it's time to come back to heaven. You failed the mission. So that's all I can think of at this point. So, all right. So we're in heaven. And I'm looking at everything now. And I'm seeing angels flying. And they're just like way out flying, like as if we were on a boat and we see the lake and you see the birds outside, out up there flying. You see the angels flying, you see the clouds. It's bright lights. It's whites and yellows, but they're bright and nice color, not hurting your eyes. It's just gorgeous. It's a nice sunny day. If you went to California or Florida and you are the beach in Bahamas and stuff like that, it's gorgeous. So here it is. I'm in line and I'm sitting there just kind of meditating, like, I don't know where to begin, where to go, what to do. I done left my mom down there by herself. Like, this is wild. All because I didn't make the team. So, as I'm waiting, a guy with a clipboard, he's like walking the line. And as he's walking the line, he stops and looks at me. He looks at the clipboard, and then he looks at me. So, you're not supposed to be here. And so, I'm looking at him. I'm not supposed to be here. And he was like, just come with me real quick. Come with me. So I get out of the line. I'm following this dude with a clipboard, right? And sorry, I'm fixing my chain, guys. My blank. But anyway, sorry. Like, shut up, dude. Just tell the story. So I followed the dude with the clipboard, and let's check over my nose. All right, cool. We're on right path. We're on right check mark. As I'm following the dude with the clipboard, he's taking me in a sense almost like just past the line, into the gates of heaven. Like, cause we're in heaven, but we're in the line outside of heaven. Like, the thing is, like, there were many people that were dead in line, right? and they're waiting to get into heaven with the golden gates, right? That's when they open and you get to go in. How that works with the judgment of if you can get in or not, there's a long line of people trying to get in. We'll get back to that. The guy with the clipboard come, and I swear I can't remember his name. I tried to. I don't know if it was John or Thomas. He told me his name, and he was just the nicest guy ever, just the coolest guy ever. And he's taking me, like, in a sense, I won't say the back way, but he took me through. But he's okay, not the back way. He's taking me into heaven, but showing me different areas and places, like almost like a tour of heaven. And so we get to, as we're walking, we get to, I think I wrote it here. Let me see. Okay. We get to this river. And this river is like, is I don't know if I can use the right word to say mesmerizing. Because when you look in the river, you're looking at all of the planets and universes or universi, the multiple universes. You're seeing it in a river, a big river. Like, think of like the Mississippi River, how wide it is. But as you're walking past it, you're looking in the river and you're like, those planets? And the colors are just like neon pink and purple, and you'll see like the stars, the galaxy, the white, and you're looking in the river, and it's almost like so powerful. You feel almost scared, like if you fall in, you're gonna get lost into all those universe, like you're gonna get lost. And so I'm looking, I'm like, just like, yo, don't push me in, don't touch me, type of feeling. Like it was like, whoa. And so, anyway, John or Thomas is like smiling a little bit, and he's like, all right, come with me, come this way, it's time for us to go. So then we done go, and we're walking. I don't know what happens to a point where everything I'm gonna share with you so far at this point, where Thomas, we'll call him Thomas is showing me around, it's sporadic of how I remember heaven. So when I'm saying some of these stories, the things that happen, how I can align them is as close as I can get to how everything comes together. And I'm going to tell you how I knew I went to heaven. So we'll get there. But right now, you got to understand this is the experience of heaven so far. This is what happened, how I entered, and this is what's going on at this point. We'll get to the point of how I recalled and how I understood I was in heaven. Anyway, back to the story. So we're going through heaven now, and Thomas has a clipboard. And as we're walking, I admire the fields of grass and sunflowers, because the colors up there are not colors like here. At first it took me a while to explain it, but it's like the colors are crystallized. They're like gems. Like when you see a green, it's emerald. So when I'm admiring the grass, the fields, you're seeing like almost like shining, glistening emeralds. But each strand of grass is an emerald strand of grass, and it sways and moves like it's living, right? And so as I'm walking, I admire the grass. I'm like, that's beautiful colors. But then I stopped, and the grass stopped. So then I just kind of moved back. I'm like, where's the wind? And the grass just moved with me. Then I moved back over here, and the grass came. So now I'll do this little number here, and the grass will do the same thing like this. So I'm like, is the grass mimicking me? So then I get close to the grass, like to see if it has a heartbeat, if it has eyes, if it has a nose. I'm looking at the grass, and it's specifically this sunflower. And as I touch the sunflower, it kind of feels like it smiles at me, because it moves, and it just comes right back and looks at me like it's playing with me. And so my hand's on my cheek in the field of grass, and I'm just playing with this little sunflower, and just admire it, just like, wow. And then Thomas, he's like holding the clipboard, and he's like, all right, well, it's time for us to go. And I'm like, oh yeah, oh my goodness, what did I just do? Like, Thomas, why you didn't come and get me? He was like, no, you're in a good mood. You're enjoying yourself. I didn't want to interrupt that. And I'm like, interrupted? But we got to go. How long was I there? This dude gave a time. I felt so horrible. But it looks like I had to experience that moment because in heaven, time is nothing. You know that there's a saying to say, to God, 1,000 years is just but one day to him. And one day can be 1,000 years. God can make it 1,000 years. And so here it is. He done said, oh, we've been waiting here for like 5 years. Wait. Say that? 5 years? I've been sitting at this plant for 5 years. It's like, yeah. But my spirit felt like it was the truth. Like, it wasn't like somebody would tell you something, you'd be like, yeah, okay, 5 years. All right, I'm sorry I wasted your time. Let's go. Dude, you ain't got to be that, sarcastic. No, this dude straight up said, we were just waiting for 5 years. And you could trust him because he was honest. He was real. He was nice. He's like, 5 years. Yeah, but it's okay. We're good. And I'm like, Thomas, I'm so sorry, man. What? Because I believed him. I trusted him, and I understood that was 5. It was 5 years. There's no other way to explain it. It's like me telling you, it's raining outside, and you look outside, it's raining, and you see on your phone it says that it's raining, and it's like it's raining. You're like, oh, yeah, it is raining outside. Type of mindset. So when he said 5 years, it's like, it was 5 years. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So that's how I felt. So anyway, we go on. And the next thing I remember was my trip to grandma's house. And if you heard my story of how I met Demi, I believe I shared it in that video. But real quick, just in case I didn't, and even just part of this story, this is the part where I go see my grandmother, right? So Thomas takes me to this beautiful home. Now, if you don't know about of course you don't know about my grandmother, but my grandmother was a minister. Strong, powerful woman of God. She taught me about God. She taught me about fasting and praying. She taught me about my faith, right? And when she was in America here, because I'm African, of course, when she was in America, she would work so hard, save up all the money she could, babysitting, just so she can build her home back in Africa. And the amount of money she worked hard to save up to build her home, let's just say when it was wrapping up, it was time for her to go back to Africa, when she wanted to go back to her kids, my aunts and my uncles, they done showed her some sloppy piece of work and said that here's your house. My grandmother was so heartbroken. It was a huge slap on her face that she worked that hard. And she even said she worked so hard, she bought appliances here to ship back so she can have it in her house. She bought blenders, microwaves, freaking cappuccino makers. Like, she was buying stuff for her new place in Africa. But when she got there, it was like, what kind of nonsense? So what did y'all do with my money? Y'all done ate my money up, and y'all didn't build my house. This house was for all of us. Who did y'all pay to build a house? So grandmother was just heartbroken. You could hear it in her voice when she tried to call back to America. It was like, yeah, like she was tired. And I feel like God, in a way, kind of knew that, because shortly after she went back to Africa, that's when my grandmother passed away. So the reason why I shared that little mini story with you is because this house that Thomas Dunn brought me to was extremely gorgeous. It was so beautiful. I'm like, wow. Whose house is this? This is beautiful. What? Let's just say the vision that my grandmother had for her home, God made sure he took care of that for her. The home she wanted that never got, God made sure it was built when she got into heaven. So here I am. I don't know that at this point. Later on, I'll catch on to that was it. But we're in this house, I'm asking like, whose house is this? This is a beautiful home. And you know, next thing you know, a woman starts coming down the stairs, just walking down the stairs, wearing her pony, you know, long hair, and she starts calling me by a name my grandmother would call me, you know, and she kept calling me with this nickname. And don't laugh, but the name is so middle name is Duchesne, and I've already told you, when my mom, when she made me late for the game, she said Shen Shen, and so my grandmother calls me Doo. So mom is Shane, grandma's Duchesne. So when mom calls me Shen Shen, my grandmother calls me Doo. So now I'm hearing grandma call me Doo. So don't laugh, please don't laugh. I love that name. I love when grandma calls me that name. It's so sweet because she be babying me when she called me that name. But she comes downstairs, she's like, Doo, is that you? Doo, that's you? What are you doing here? And I'm like, girl, please stop calling me that. Like, don't ain't nobody call me that except my grandmother. Like, stop. But as she was walking down the stairs, I'm looking at her like, is this supposed to be my wife? This has to be a dream. I'm not in heaven. This is a dream. And I'm seeing who's my wife gonna be. I finally get to see, you know, what my heart's been craving for this whole time. It's my soulmate, my love. And there she's coming downstairs. I'm like, wow, she is gorgeous. She's beautiful. This is who God has for me. Okay. But then she's coming down, Doo, is that you? And I'm like, okay, but why is she calling me by my nickname? Like, can you stop, dude? Like, you're ruining the moment. Like, can't be having you call me by the name grandma calls me. Like, I'm supposed to be attracted to you right now, and you coming down these stairs, but now I'm not attracted to you. You keep calling me Doo. Like, And then she gets close to me in my face, and she does the thing my grandma does with the little head cocked. I kind of catch myself doing it too. But she does the little thing with her head cocked, like, dude, you don't remember me? It's me, grandma. And I'm like, you too young to be grandma. What are you talking about, you grandma? You my grandma. And I'm trying to understand, and that's why I kept repeating it, to try to understand, what does she mean, And as I'm doing it, by the time I could understand that was grandma, it's like God done snapped his fingers and we done moved to the next location. Don't worry, everything comes later on. But literally, I remembered her in the moment where God was like, oh, get him right now. Oh, whew, that was close. This kid's going to remember a lot, but we didn't want him to know it just then because he would have woke up like, oh my God. But anyway, so then, here it is. We done, what we got? As you can see, I'm in a noisy neighborhood. These trucks. Lucky I'm not doing this one recording at night because the sirens will be up. But anyway, we got a couple more minutes. All right, we'll try it out. So, after that, it looks like it's getting to a point where God's like, okay, this kid is he quick to pick up on some of these signs. We got to take our time because we got to lock all of this information that we're showing him away in his head to be awake, to be opened up at the right time. So we can't let it slip out. So just don't show him too much, but show him just enough and lock it away. Because, man, it's going to come together for him on that life that I got for him down there. So anyway, continuing, God is like, he's calling, like the whole point of Thomas taking me around is he's taking me around, showing me these things because this is God's plan, and he got the clipboard, so he's showing me these things, and he's getting ready to take me to go see the big guy, to go see our almighty, powerful God, our Father in heaven. I'm telling you, wait till we get to that point. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's true. I met God, but check this out, right? So we're going to the throne room, right? The throne room where God is. This is what I recall now. It's like bits and pieces. Like I said, when I start catching on to something, it's a snap. I wake up and I'm in a different place. I can't even say wake up. It's just I don't remember the transition. I remember we get to the next place. Some of these things might be still locked in my head and they're coming out when they need to be open. Like I said, God said at the right time it will be unleashed. But as of now, I remember this part of the visitation, and we are now going to the throne room. Now, as we're in the throne room, oh, we got 5 minutes before we gotta shut it down. Okay, so what do we get to talk about for 5 minutes? No, we can finish the throne. We'll get there because we'll pick it up if we have to. So we'll do it like that. All right, so we get to. I can't call it the throne room just yet because it's, what would you call the room where a king, the hall, the great hall. That's what we're gonna call it because it's just this building like a church, like a temple, and it's a great hall, right? And in fact, hopefully, I get to the part where this is actually how I met Demi Lovato, speaking truthfully, to be claimed as my soulmate. And we'll get to that story, but I don't know if I should share it with you now. Well, we got the 5 minutes. Well, I'll share that with you because I don't know if I'll get to it. I might have to talk about it again, but it'll fit into why I'm saying it now and why I'll have to say it again later. But anyway, in the Great Hall, God has this little personal choir, right? And in the personal choir, there's so many people and creatures that y'all don't even understand. It's mind blowing. Like, oh my goodness gracious. I'm telling you, I've seen a human being, but with like a goat head and horns, walking around in a white robe, and just like it was God's creation. Like, I'm like, at first, even looking at that, I'm like, is this hell? What's the movie Pan's Labyrinth? You know that thing with the eyes and the hands, and it's just like walking like this type of feeling where you seeing a creature like, whoa, what is that? There's creatures that God done create, and it's like they're half animals, half humans type of creatures where and this is why when I see some of these movies and shows when they're creating these type of creatures for like effects, I'm like, where did they get these ideas from? Like, that's real creative. Like, they don't create like just this. It has a deer head with antlers, but the face with a nose with a deer, and it's like they create all these kind of things. It's because y'all done tapped into some of the memories of y'all being in heaven before y'all came down to earth. That's why some of y'all can draw this and create, and just it comes to your head. Because what y'all don't know is y'all unlocking things that y'all remembered from heaven, and it won't make sense till you get to heaven, and you be like, that's why I done made a movie and drew that. That I remember you. You were my best friend, and it's like an antler, and like, and anyway, what time we got? We got 43 minutes so far. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up with that one. We're seeing creatures in the Great Hall. We see the mini choir, where all these creatures and people are mixed in the choir, singing these heavenly tunes. The songs are so like tear jerking. Like, I thought Celine Dion with freaking all her music was tear jerking. You ain't hear nothing compared to the choir that God has in heaven. It makes you melt. Like, I'm talking about, like, I had to use Celine Dion because they use her song in all freaking black people wedding, and it be sounding so sweet. The whispers in the morning, do, and it's like, damn, Celine, you just know how to woo a person. Golly, dang, just. And what's the other one? 'Cause I'm your lady. And it's like, oh, Celine, you my lady, girl. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, where we at? 44. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to continue with Celine because we got to continue her music. Celine. Like, should be on point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all stay tuned. We're going to continue the story about heaven and earth. And we'll pick it up with the story of the choir that is in the Great Hall. All right, stay tuned.